All right, welcome back to another episode. That's right. Okay, everybody. Yeah, I want to go ahead and we're gonna do our normal engineering thing. I did. I went live about 7 minutes, 6, 7 minutes before 2:30. Kind of gives more time for those notifications to go out. That's why I say often that on Tuesdays around 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, because sometimes it might be a couple of minutes before, it might be a couple of minutes after, depends. Okay, and so we want to let those notifications go out. That's why we highly encourage y'all. In order to get those notifications, you got to hit that subscribe button, and so you don't miss the notification for when we go live. And so, and remember that the live Truth Seeker podcast is only on this channel, YouTube now. We did, yes, we did go through a little experimenting to see. Yes. Okay. And I wanted to go ahead and there you go. All right. Got that going. And so I can monitor. And let's get these formalities out of the way. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Truth Seeker podcast, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. And I have an announcement to make. Okay, for those of you who attended the live CHA's Motivational Monday show yesterday, thank you. And I don't know where it went. I did not delete it. I'm telling y'all. Okay, I did not delete it. And that's just the enemy playing head game. That's right, because there's very specific steps that have to be taken to delete them off of these platforms. Because CHA Motivational Monday show streams around 4 p.m. Eastern time. And I go to both Facebook profile and the business, okay, and YouTube. I go to all three platforms with that show. Same thing with the Bible studies on Saturday. So I went in today to the YouTube because I needed to finish the description, tag, things like that, add the thumbnail. It's gone. So I go into my software and I go in path. It's gone. I had no reason to delete that. Absolutely not. It was fantastic. Speak life over yourself. So stay tuned because the enemy is stupid. Okay. Okay. If that miraculously shows back up because we know that God worked miracle, awesome. But if by next Monday I don't see it again, stay tuned. Because we're going to do a part 2. That's right. Of course, I'm not going to put part 2 in the title if the first one, right, it's not there. But it's going to be a redo, basically. So wherever the Holy Spirit takes us is where we're going to go. And so I wanted to go ahead and dive into some things that you will learn about on the Patreon channel. And I have a thing for you all later on this evening. Okay, I highly encourage you because I'm going to do it a regular. Normally, I would go with the Let's Just Chat show on this channel, but God needs me to do a regular, traditional live stream for YouTube and across Facebook because I need to give you all a major preview of the stuff that we work on the Patreon channel. Because there is no reason. We are a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ, right? Okay, then. So many of us know information from the rabbit hole. We also know that a lot of these traditions out here are pagan holidays, right? Okay. And so we also know that the weather gets manipulated, but only to an extent. And I have a very specific video on the Patreon channel where I share. It came from a German channel where they were showing the cloud, things like that. And I understood what I was looking at because that's right. It stems from the research that I had to do when the ex-psycho roommate was trying to set up electrocution station. Okay, that's what he was doing. And so I had to take that crash course in Physics 101. I had to learn about the law of reflection. I had to learn a lot of stuff, okay? And quick. Because God needed me to become aware of what he was doing. Because what he was doing on the individual level is what is going on the societal level with narcissistic abuse, okay? So we were able to connect that dot. And so I'm not the only one who know these truths. See, as truth seekers, this is the kind of stuff that we want to know about. And it's not a secret, it's out there. You just have to know where to look. That's the thing. And so we find out that it's with all that radio frequency, okay, that they're using to manipulate things. After all, think about this. What else does radio frequency do? Right. It's used as a mind control tool. Big time. This is why we start to see the narcissists who are out here all marching to the same beat, to the same drum. Okay, because they are perfectly programmed. So we know this now. For those who didn't, now you do. You know, and it does go in line with a part of that movie, you know, The Matrix. But when we talk about The Matrix, we're not referring to the movie. No, because The Matrix is a control system. We're referring to that fallen Babylonian narcissistic world out there. That's what we're referring to, because that's exactly what it is. Nothing but a control system. Mind control. Right? And through the television, tells you what to eat, what to wear, where to go, where to shop. Takes away a person's self-thinking ability. But can't touch God's chosen one that way, because God awakens us on his time. He even tells us in scripture that we will be awakened. His elect will be awakened. I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I mean. That his elect will be awakened at his appointed time. So never forget that. God knew the day. Yep. He knew the day, the hour, the moment, the minute, the second, the nanosecond. He knew where we would be. Like he knew I was going to be driving in the car and analyzing the case study, right? He knew that. And that I was going to come to realize. I heard the trumpet call. God knew exactly the day, the time, the location, right down to the very pair of socks I may have been wearing that day, just to help y'all put it in perspective. Because God is Alpha and Omega. He knew. And so for some of us, you know, it was usually, somewhere into the early to mid 30s that we start to come to, if you will. And the enemy can see that. So that's why many of us experience heavier abuse. And also why, going forward, those of us who are assigned to turn them over to case study, or into case studies, better yet, we learn. Okay? And so when the enemy sent that Jezebel across my path, well, it's two of them. One was the flying monkey to the other one. Yeah, God helped us connect the dots because they only live about a half hour from each other. That's very telling right there, right? Okay. But how they do that? Because that's what's happening right now with the weather. Because we're where? What time of year is it? What does radio frequency do? It mimics symptoms, right? Radio frequency poisoning. Yeah. What do we learn about Jesus? He cleans everything. Okay? So, with that being said, the enemy wants to try to keep everybody dirty, right? And I'm talking about spiritually, wants to keep them spiritually dead. And the biggest way he does that is through that radio frequency mind control. So, of course, they're going to use radio frequency to manipulate the weather. Because what is it that we know we get from the sun? That's right, nutrients. And so when they, listen, God revealed to me, and I've got videos on our Patreon channel where I dive deeper into this stuff. Because when I was at the pool one day, God had me look up. Okay. So I saw some actual God clouds way up high. I mean, way up high. And then some clouds that were moving very low. I'm like, oh, they've got some kind of vape machine on a timer because they're moving really fast, right? God clouds don't move that fast. But here's the thing with radio frequency. How come it can't reach that? It can't reach that high. No, because sine waves, based on the law of reflection, sine waves, okay? I'm going to give y'all a visual. In fact, I'm going to draw it. That'll be a lot easier to understand when I draw it. Let me do this real quick because it's real simple. Okay? Let's say you have a chair. Because this is what the ex-psycho was doing, and this is how I learned. Because radio frequency also comes through what? Yes, Wi-Fi. Okay, you have your, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. That's frequency, y'all. And so what he did is place antennas right? Yep. This is the back porch. Wi-Fi antennas in the tower, so to speak, because I'm not an artist with drawing. I can draw a pretty rose, but okay. Stick person, that would be me. Holding a phone to my ear, right? All the while. That's right. That's sine wave. And then another one. Sine wave. Okay, it's not the prettiest drawing, but you can laugh if you want to. Okay, here you go. That is how he was setting up electrocution station. Okay, that's what it looks like. You see the direction of the sine wave. Exactly. Because what does the sine wave, this little sucker, right? It's an electronic, right? But you got it next to your ear, right? And so when it electrocutes, I have a hearing aid, right? You see, that's how sick these evildoers are. And so everybody's out there, right? Walking down the street, doing what? That's right, talking on the phone. Or scrolling. All the while, sine waves are pointing to the devices, right? Part of the mind control. Because God revealed to me that those clouds, okay, those clouds, radio frequency is being used to move them. Because God's clouds are way up there. And sine waves don't do that. Sine waves go this way. So that's how they do it. But again, like everything in narcissism, they can only manipulate to an extent. God is still in full control. And this is not a secret, y'all. There's other people out there. Absolutely. Because here's the other thing God revealed to me, because I wanted to go to a particular store and get some shoes. However, to get to that store, not very simple. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to order it from Amazon. I was like, okay, so God, why do you have me take this trip all the way down here and go through the parking garage just to come on back out? Because I wasn't even going to play. So I was like, what's the reason? There's a reason. There's always a reason why God has us do what he has us do. And he asked me, he said, what did you see on the way down there? Oh, that's right. Utility vehicle at power line, at least 3 of them. What do I see again this morning on my walk? Utility vehicles. What has been circulating around out there, right? A fear-mongering thing about tomorrow, October 4th, 2023, right? Okay, yes, I'm aware of that. And I also did a TikTok short. I will bring this to you all here. Do not turn your phones off. Put them, it's going to serve you best. I'm talking from firsthand experience. I just shared with you what the ex-psycho roommate was doing, okay? And the fact that I had to learn about things that I had never learned before. And so when I tell you all this stuff, it's not just some mumbo jumbo. It's from experience and the education. And so do not turn those phones off. And I'll tell you why. You put them on silence, okay? Because what are these things? Storage devices. They are storage devices. So what's going to happen if you turn it off? This is what they want you to do. Because they're going to try to get you anyway. Okay? They want you to turn them off. So they send out those emergency broadcast thingies, right? What's happening? That's right. It's sitting there. It's still going to be in your device. Yeah, because they sent it, right? Your best bet is to leave it on, put it on silent, take that device into a different room if you can. Like for me, I'll probably just set them on the bathroom counter over there or something. Or it might even just be right there on the desk and stay a good few feet away from it. Let it go off, because what happens is you need that open space. This is why it takes an astronomical amount of this stuff to take a person out, okay? Because the frequency will evaporate. So you want to let it do that. Because if you turn that thing off, the moment you go to turn it back on, they're still going to get you. So don't let cognitive dissonance trick you. Okay? It's common sense. And so I wanted to bring that here for you all. That we do the opposite. That was the theme TikTok that I did yesterday about that. Okay? Is that we do the opposite of what the Matrix tells us to do. Why? Because we now know that what they're trying to tell us to do is to dupe us, right? And we now know that everything inside that narcissistic matrix is upside down, backward. It's not God's reality. So we have to learn, right? There you go. Okay. Yes, fellow warrior. But sometime where you're at, okay, seems to have, okay, weird periods of weather where there are long periods of no wind, zero wind, not even a gentle breeze. When there's no wind, that's right, when there's no wind, those metal molecules that are part of the frequency just sit. Okay, so that's the thing behind that. And this is not a secret either. Let me share this with you all. The enemy knows that when the air outside is cooler or cold, it's going to hold on to those metal molecules a lot longer. Because the warmer the air, yeah, the quicker they evaporate. That is coming from my metal toxicity course. Okay? Yes, we had a whole chapter on that. Hold on a second. Let me get it for you. We find that chapter because I'm telling y'all that what we learn, okay, and pass it on down to you all because of the simple fact that, okay, and I mean, I know that I don't want no case study one. I'm just trying to remember. Oh boy. We had a whole section. Let me look in the back. Thank you all for your patience while I look this up, because I want y'all to have this information. Very, very important. Because it's part of that awareness that we need to have. And that the enemy really, the enemy cannot keep this stuff hidden. Remember, God says all is going to be revealed, right? Okay. Well, that's what's happening. All has to be revealed. Okay. M. I know it's in here. Okay, here we go. La 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 la. Okay. M-E. Okay. 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 And the thing about the metals is they are not lipid soluble, meaning they don't. Okay, heavy metals. I'm not even, okay. Not metabolic acidosis, alkalosis, can we know about that? Oh, because the metal toxicity, y'all. Okay, here we go, metals. There's many different ones. So I'm just going to pick one. Because, well, let's pick, gosh. Let's go with 1250 to 1256. Okay. Let's see. Because, yes, I remember this one. Okay. Yep. All right. Y'all know about mercury, right? Oh, yes. College textbooks. All right, everybody. We all know about this. And so the atomic weight, atomic number, and it's used in manufacturing, industrial, it's used in, in medical stuff, it's used in food and other, like, it's naturally occurring in like seafood, okay? But it's also used, okay, mercury is used in laxatives and other things. And then it's also used in, that's right, like an elemental, it would be used in what's called electroplating, okay, photography, things like that. So we are surrounded by metal. The enemy is obsessed with metal poisoning, obviously, because essentially that is what radio frequency poisoning is metal poisoning. So it's important to understand that that's what they're doing, as they're manipulating things with the radio frequency out there. And so when they manipulate the weather to turn it cold, it's usually right after an event like tomorrow, because it'll hold the metal molecules in the air longer. Think about that, because they do it because the enemy follows man's seasons, right? God does not follow man's season. And we who know that Jesus cleans everything, okay, well, we get better understanding that what a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The enemy knows this. So we have to be more mindful, right? More mindful of how we speak to ourselves, what we tell ourselves. Because whenever they blast that out, okay, and then enemy's gonna try to trick you into thinking that you gotta run to the store, pick up a product that's supposed to alleviate whatever that is, but it doesn't, because it does not treat the underlying cause, which is radio frequency poisoning. That's why many of us, like I said before, many of us, okay, before we knew what was going on, we were tricked by the world into thinking that we might have had this, might have had that. So we would go and get a certain product that was supposed to alleviate the issue, and it only worked for maybe 2 to 3 weeks and then stopped working. Why do you think that is? Exactly. All right, so we learn. We don't need none of that stuff. So I just want to bring that as an example for you all, because when they're doing that, y'all know that that's how the M matrix stays in operation. It's because it tricks with this radio frequency poisoning. It tricks a lot of people into thinking things about themselves that are not true. Yes. In those cases where there's no wind, that's definitely being controlled. Yes. Or manipulated, if you will. Okay, yes. That too. Dumping metal particles into the atmosphere. Of course. Of course. Absolutely. Right. Iron in the bloodstream, yes. And we have to have a healthy level of it, because that's what's responsible for, that's right, circulation, oxygen saturation. Y'all can look that up. Okay, just a matter of the delivery of oxygen to the vital places it needs to go. Your organs, your tissue, your brain. I want y'all to think about something. What's been going on? This is 2023. With this satanic ritual that's been going on, that is targeting people's oxygen. Right? You know what I'm talking about? That's part of the satanic ritual. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that either until we learned that down the rabbit hole. But yes, they do. Okay, they do dump metal particle into the air. Absolutely. And so when there's no wind, well, they just kind of, that's right, linger. And if you happen to walk by, well, there it is. They just went in there. Because they are so small. They're very, very small. All right, here is the best analogy I have for you all to help you put it in perspective, because how I came to learn about this early on with the size of the molecule and the temperature outside and the correlation there is when I used to smoke cigarettes, okay? I noticed that when it was cooler outside, the smell would linger on me a little bit more. I picked up on that. And that when the weather warmed up, the smell didn't linger. It evaporated. Because what's inside those things? A ton of metal. Absolutely. Toxin. Like crazy. That's what's in those things. So I'll go ahead and share with you all that what happened with that case study, what the enemy was trying to do also, because he knew that I quit smoking cigarette and that at some point these metals are going to eliminate through the process of elimination as I continue to recover, right? And I'll share with you all that those metals, they like to go into warm, mucousy places. If you think about, I know this might, look, we're keeping it real here, all right? Because the normal process when a person quits cigarette is over time, you're going to cough up that phlegm, right? Well, one thing I've noticed is when that happens is the tiny, tiny green dot that happens to be in the middle of that mucus. God revealed to me what that was. That's a metal. And so your body will naturally eliminate what it doesn't want. Yes, that way too. Okay? As well. And so when she did what she did to drag me down those carpeted steps to try and injure the very muscle and nervous system areas, things like that, that are responsible. There you go. Are responsible for the natural metabolic processes to get rid of metal toxins. All of that part. God revealed that to me. Because I was like, okay, so we understand that a lot of the whys and the spiritual and things like that. So now I said I had some whys about the biological. Because what was being revealed to me is that that's exactly what the enemy was trying to do, was prolong those metal toxins that would be inside the body from years of smoking cigarettes. But see, here's the issue. How stupid the enemy is. I was already aware and awake before I quit. Okay, yeah, I was aware and awake long before I quit smoking. It was just a matter of, I knew I wanted to, and I had to be ready. Because it is, yeah, it's a challenge. But remember, challenges can be overcome. So that explained the tightening of the bra, where it got tightened. Because it's the lung area, right? Okay. Well, that's another target area of the enemy with mucus. Because it's not the mucus that causes the pain, it's the metal molecule. Metal molecule inside. That's what's doing it. Because each time a blast of radio frequency goes out, it's going to be attracted to whatever metal molecule is in there. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. Unless y'all do your own research. Okay? Because I know that's a lot. That is a lot to take in as far as God's truth, because of the simple fact that how they're manipulating the weather that way and why. Because it needs to keep people thinking things about themselves. It's not true. Yep. Okay. There you go. Yeah, like an oxygen starvation. There you go. Yep. There you go. That's another way that the enemy targets our oxygen. Yeah. By dropping those metal molecules in the air, things like that. Yep. Hey, y'all, if you got to go get a snack or a drink of water or whatever, go right ahead. Yeah, go right ahead, because I got my water too. But I wanted to dive into this because, like I said, I need to give y'all a preview of this is the type of content that you will get access to when you become a member at CHA's Patreon channel. So for those of you who can, right, this evening, I am going to be sharing some actual content from that channel in a regular live stream later on this evening. I know a lot of y'all will be able to catch that on the replay, and that's fine. Because I want to let y'all know when I say we are making real world connections to the spiritual realm, what does that look like, right? Well, I'm going to show you. And I just gave you a good tidbit right there of how, in the physical and the biological sense, okay, that radio frequency is manipulating things within our body. Because here's the other truth, you all. Yeah. That the enemy knows this as well. That if you have any previous injury, right, and the world garbage that we were told about cold weather and those previous injuries acting up, unlearn that garbage. Unlearn it. That's right. Unlearn it. One more time. Because the only reason that would be acting up is because of the long conditioned belief that what was going on. No. Once you're aware that that's because of the radio frequency and the metal molecule staying in the air longer because the air is colder, once you become aware of that, that ache goes away. That's the thing, you all. The enemy, I'm telling y'all, the enemy knows that once we become aware of these things, that what he does like this is not going to have the negative intended effect on God's chosen one. Once we are aware and we continue to get the awareness about it. Because if we don't know, remember, God said, I will not have you ignorant, my brethren. He's not going to have us ignorant of the enemy's devices. And so when God revealed this stuff to me, I'll share it with you all. So that you can get, okay, a better idea of why there's certain things out there that, yeah, okay? Because we are in what? That's right, a spiritual battle for the mind. And so I know, I'm fully aware, y'all, as I said previously, that we're aware of the enemy manipulating our channel numbers. Absolutely, 100%. Because I just put this out in an Instagram earlier today that we see the numbers, right? Well, the enemy is the only one that cares about it, but here's what he's doing. So you all know. He's trying to keep whatever illusion of control and power he thinks he has over us at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, over me. He thinks he still has. No, he does not. Got the boot. Okay? So he's keeping our channel, right, at 3-3. That's the age that Jesus was crucified, right? And then look at the 36. It was going between 36 and 38. The significance of that is 36 is when I entered the spiritual awakening. I didn't know that's what it was yet until 38 when I heard the trumpet call. I'm now 45. Come on now. The enemy needs to let go. I declare and decree that the enemy let go of that because he does not have no control over this head. In Jesus' name. Glory be to God. He's not going to get it either. Like you're trying to hang on to those first 2 years I was in the spiritual awakening. That's what he's trying to do. Not only that, what do we know about the enemy, right? Yeah, he lives in the past. We don't. And yes, fellow warriors, for any of you who have wondered about the view count, like count, yes, those are being manipulated too. We're aware of that. Absolutely. And we're leaving it in the hands of God. Yeah, we keep on keeping on. But we know it's not being manipulated by the ones who are good. It's being manipulated by evildoers who happen to be there. So we are fully aware of that, yes. And we just keep on dropping content. We keep on showing up. So for those who missed it in the beginning, you'll catch it on the replay that yesterday's Motivational Monday show, well, but we know we did the show. I went into StreamYard and I was like, okay. But that's just the enemy playing head games. Absolutely. Trying to trick me into thinking that I deleted it. I have no reason to do that. Because very specific in StreamYard, if I go delete a broadcast, a window pops up and you have the YouTube channel and the Facebook places that I stream to, and there's a box and ask, do you want to remove it from these platforms? I never check those boxes unless it was a major interference one or something like that, right? And I had to redo it. I never check those boxes. I just free up storage space in the software. So yeah, we know that that was a spiritual attack. And it's, again, the enemy is stupid because he knows that we can always redo. Absolutely. Just like we did the live stream where we got, our audio got attacked when I was unveiling the truth about fear. Well, that's why you see in the title, Redo the Truth About Fear. God told me the very next day, he said, go old school. Don't use no external microphone. Get up here and do a pre-recorded and get that message back out there. Because the truth about fear is that that's what needed. That's right. For all the abuse. Because fear is the foundation for narcissistic abuse. It's the enemy needs to keep people living in fear so that they are easier to abuse. Those of us that God awakened, and we know there's no reason to fear nothing out there, especially the enemy, because he just needed to be a toddler in an adult body. That's it. Remember, these narcs out here tell us who the devil is. So if they are toddlers in an adult body, well, then that's what the devil is. We make connection. And they are the ones living in fear. Well, then the devil is living in fear. It's really simple. So once we learn these truths, it takes a while to process. I know. Okay, it does. It takes a while to process, but y'all get it. Y'all will get it. That's right. A disturbance of the season, less defined season, good observation. Right there. Start to notice this stuff more and more. Absolutely. And then we tell Satan to get behind us. Because we are the head and not the tail. And so I know, okay, y'all know this too, that the enemy cannot stop God. No matter what he tries, the enemy cannot stop God. And so we want to be mindful, okay? And I'm looking at the clock to see the time here, all right? Because I want to have a little bit of a break before we get back on and share actual content from our Patreon channel with you all. Okay, going to be, we'll see where it goes, but the initial plan is at least one video and some of a podcast or the whole podcast. So if that's the case, it's going to be at least an hour long. Just to give y'all a heads up. Yes, later on. Because it's time for you all to see more about what we mean when we say we are making the connection to the spiritual realm. Because it's all about trying to get control of our thoughts. Right? Okay. Never forget that. Down to the nitty gritty right there. Because the enemy wants to try and get control of our thoughts. Because if he can get control of our thoughts, he could trick us into internalizing his negative demon spirits. But see, chosen one, once God awakens us, and we realize that that Godhead is on the inside of us, and that none of that negative stuff is coming from him, then we know it's not coming from within us. We know it's external. And so we learn to keep it that way. Return to sender. First class. And we just keep going forward. Make it over that rainbow, that balance, so that we are no longer emotionally dysregulated. And that's another thing about radio frequency too. It can keep people emotionally dysregulated. Yep, thinking that they're coming down with this, thinking that they got this, thinking that that's wrong with them, thinking that that's wrong with them. When the reality is, it's just radio frequency poisoning. There ain't nothing wrong with nobody. I know some people are going to be like, yes. Discernment, y'all. Discernment. Because like I've said before, that narcissism out there is the 80-20. 80% deception, 20% legit. Same concept applies to other things. Especially when it comes to, y'all know what I'm talking about, supplements and stuff like that. So what we do is we try to, I take a multivitamin, okay, and then some additional natural herbal supplement. That's it. Well, and then one thing that we are working on weaning ourselves off of that is something that we don't want to take any more of. But God said that I have to do that one very intentionally as well. In other words, I will have to, on the calendar, I will have to go and I would have to pace it out. But he says I'm not ready for that yet because of what else is going on. You got to finish this process first. Okay? So that's just to give y'all a little heads up. All right? So if you can join us later or you catch it on the replay, that's awesome too, because you, for as little as $5 a month, you're about to find out, okay, the exclusive content, type of exclusive content. And what I'm going to do for you all is I'm going to give you all the links so you can learn more about that channel in our description, okay, so that you can have quicker access, direct access. All right, you won't have to jump through a bunch of hoops, if you will. So there you go on how they are manipulating the weather and beyond. But again, they can only do it so far. Just like these narcs out here, they can only manipulate us to an extent as well before we see through them, right? Same concept. And the enemy knows it. Oh. I didn't know that about the oranges. Huh. Well, I will tell you this. One of the ones I take is a cranberry supplement, and it has additional vitamin C in it. So you can look into something like that. Yep. And I do business for my stuff with Vitamin Shop. Because they have gluten-free, lactose. Well, I'm not lactose intolerant, but lactose-free, gluten-free, nut-free, it's just all natural. Dried up cranberry in a couple of capsules. And it's got some additional vitamin C added to it. So you can always look into natural things like that. But that's another one that I have, is a different one that's a vitamin C. Because when I first started on this journey, after the case study got closed, God told me I needed to up the ante a little bit on that one to help with the healing of the bruises. You see, that's what I'm saying, y'all. God guides our steps, tells us what he needs us to get. So, yeah, like he had me get some cilantro. I don't know what he's going to have me make with it. Maybe it's going on a burger tonight. I don't know. We'll see how he guides our step. But there's reasons why. Because cilantro is alkaline. See, that's the other thing. Okay, we're going to wrap it up with this about radio frequency. So y'all can help each other out as far as piecing the puzzle together. That the enemy needs to keep our body's pH off balance. That emotional regulation, dysregulation, better yet, contributes to that. Radio frequency helps keep people emotionally dysregulated, which in turn keeps the body's internal pH off balance. So, even after we can obtain and maintain emotional regulation, we do that first. God's working on rebalancing the body's pH. So that's one of the reasons why he still has me taking that one thing right now during this season. But he's introducing me to other items that will become staple, if you will, in my diet for maintaining as much of a balance as possible. Because let's face it, we are exposed to radio frequency. There's no way around it, especially those of us who are content creators. So because we're exposed to it, even in small amounts, our pH is still going to be a little funny. It's never going to be 100. So that's why you now see pH waters. You see, all of this, right? Why you see alkaline waters available now and all of that. But we learn foods, green foods especially, are high in alkalinity. But you want to have a balance between the acid and the alkaline, okay? That's what we work towards. It's getting as much of a balance as we can on the inside for proper digestion. Exactly. All right, everybody. So there you go. Hello, Jeremiah. Fellow warriors, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So I can't stress the importance of, the awareness and paying attention. After all, what are we, right? What is our body? Exactly. It's the temple for the Holy Spirit. So we want to take care of it. But we also know that the closer to God we get, the more he increases us. And that's how he does it. He guides our steps to get natural herbs, supplements. That's right. Foods, certain foods. And I want y'all, here's something else. It probably depends on jurisdiction, I'm pretty sure. But God revealed to me something here recently. Because this is one of those things I had to purge out of my subconscious. I can bring it here. It's not more expensive to eat healthier. Think about how you do it. Okay? It's not. Because of the abundance. That's what God revealed to me. We were conditioned to believe that junk food was cheaper than healthier food. Again, it can depend on the store for sure. Yes, there's other factors that go into it. But what I'm saying is, in how you do it. Got to develop that abundant mindset first. Okay, for you to understand what I'm talking about here. But once you have that abundant mindset, there's plenty to go around for everybody on this planet. There's plenty of room for all of us. Okay? Once we realize that, and we see the abundance in the physical now, God revealed that to me because I was like, okay, I want to get back into, because there were some things that would be considered junk food, but because of the potassium that's in that particular food, that's why God had me Yep, going for that a bit more. Yes, I'm talking about French fries. All right, y'all. God had me getting more. Yeah, He needed me to get the potassium from those because I was not eating russet potatoes for many, many years. But after that incident, God had to increase, right? He needs to increase my nourishment. And so He guided my steps. That's what He does for all of us. Okay? So now, every once in a while, if He has me go get a French fry, I know why. Because I don't voluntarily go through drive-through to get some French fries. That's just not been my thing for years. Okay? Or buy a bag of it from the grocery store. I have not done that in many years, but every once in a while, God knocks on the door and says, "Okay, I need this to work with." Oh, and to help y'all put this in perspective, okay, our water circulation is also manipulated by radio frequency. Okay, that's right. And so what God told me to do today is He said, I need you to be intentional with getting more water because He's on the job. So we got to listen to Him, okay? Because to help, okay, to get the hops, because hops are a beneficial herb, right? And where do you find hops? Relatively, right, in beer. But God had me get the non-alcoholic beer. So with lunch, as part of the nutrient building, healing, it's the hops that He needed that was in those things. So every once in a while with lunch, I might have one or two of those, right? Today, God told me not to have none of those, but to get this water in. Because I had not been getting more than maybe a glass full in a day. And so He's like, I need you to, because I got to give Him that to work with. He's like, I want to do something. I need some more to work with. That's how God operates. Okay, when He has us doing things, walking the walk, He'll take care of it. But He tells us what He needs as well to work with. That's how He guides our steps. And it's beautiful because it's good news. Because that lets us know that God's getting ready to, well, He's already on the job. And so He's getting ready to take care of something. They're already taking care of it, but get ready to wrap it up. And it's beautiful. It really, truly is. Like, so there you all go. Yeah, for those who missed the drawing, okay, I'm going to put it up here one more time of what is going on with that radio frequency. And it's a sine wave, essentially, right? And this is what the psycho roommate set up in an attempt to electrocute me. Well, I mean, he was doing to an extent because I could sense it in my body. I caught on to this after research and things like that. Let me get a little bit closer. All right, there. One more visual just to help y'all put it in perspective because that's basically what's going on out there with that radio frequency, okay? Is that each we're walking, okay? And so even though I have this as I'm walking out there in my hand, I'm just using it for the clock. I'm not doing anything on it. I'm not talking on it, nothing. There's your tip, okay? And so just be mindful of that. That's all. It's not to scare anybody. Absolutely not. None of this is. Okay? As always. Yeah, calling that my, right. Thank you for sharing. God told you to eat French fries too, okay? All right, and beef burgers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, and like I said, the beer that He had me get is non-alcoholic beer because of the hops. The natural, the hops. Because the hops have healing power. And so, living antenna for God. There you go. I like that. And then my art masterpiece. Yeah. That's not my talent. This is my talent. Among other things. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for today's Truth Seeker podcast. All right. As always, if you've got any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Okay. Because that's what we're here for. We're not going to leave y'all. That's right. We're not going to leave y'all in the dark. No way, Jose. All right. So that way. All right. Yeah. We'll go ahead and get that back. So that way you all get this information. And listen, I understand that it doesn't resonate with everybody. And that it is what it is. But we have to become aware of these things so that they don't have the negative intended effect on us chosen ones. There you go. As always, yes, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Truth Seeker podcast, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. That's right. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.